Hey guys, my name is Melanie Rimawi, and for my reading program, I researched all about Lexia Core 5. So these are just some of the components we're going to be discussing as I uncover Lexia Core 5 with you guys. So what is Lexia Core 5? Well, Lexia Core 5 Reading is a comprehensive technology-based reading program that extends learning for students who are advanced and accelerates learning for students who need more support. The reading program supports educators in offering differentiated literacy instruction for students of all abilities in grades pre-K through 5th. And Lexia's research provides explicit, systematic, personalized learning in the 6 areas of reading instruction, which I'll talk about in a second. And Lexia Core 5 targets the 6 specific skill gaps as they appear while providing teachers with data and student-specific resources that can be used individually or in a small group setting. The reading program gives students an engaging and motivational game-like environment and progress monitors students' data without tests. Lexia Core 5 gives students a personalized learning path through scaffolded activities which align to the rigorous standards we have to teach. So, the 6 reading components are phonological awareness, phonics, structural analysis, fluency, vocab, and comprehension. And this is something you might see if your students did Lexia, where there's all these different levels and the different passages and activities that have specific themes, and then however many of the 6 components are covered in each of those activities. So who started Lexia Learning? Well, Lexia Learning is a Cambium learning group company and is one of the best known and highly respected reading technology companies. Lexia was funded in 1984 by Bob Lemire, who was a well-respected investment advisor and land use consultant. Lemire admired his son's success in overcoming dyslexia and other reading difficulties, and that made him realize that many other students and children probably didn't have the same resources and guidance as his son did. So this inspired him to partner with Dr. Cole and Dr. Little and Meeks to create a company that used computer technology to help the students receive explicit and personalized instruction needed to become successful, confident learners. So the research base. Lexia programs improve learning outcomes required by federal mandates under the Every Student Succeeds Act. The literacy program was funded through a research grant over 30 years ago and has been committed to conducting evidence-based research to support the development of Lexia programs. According to O'Callaghan, 2016 Core 5 users demonstrate significantly greater gains on measures of blending and non-word reading than control group students, and Lexia Core 5's computer-based literacy program has effective early interventions that boost literacy difficulties. Also, studies have been done on Lexia Core 5 that research the potential benefits of a blended learning approach for our low socioeconomic status students. Schutzer, 2015, states that students in the Core 5 groups showed significantly greater gains on a standardized reading assessment compared to the control students who received the same classroom instruction without Core 5, and the greatest discrepancy between the groups occurred in reading comprehension. So Lexia allows those students to work independently at their own pace and a structured sequential order, and then the program notifies the teachers when the students need support and provide them the necessary resources to offer the appropriate face-to-face instruction. So what is the theory? Lexia Core 5 uses blended learning to enhance education in a way that traditional classrooms cannot by using adaptive technologies to guide students as they master new concepts at their own pace. So Lexia Core 5 hopes to alleviate these challenges that educators have by using technology to individualize content and streamline instruction. The reading program provides us educators with ongoing real-time progress, monitoring data, and the resources needed to connect our students' data to classroom instruction. So some of the objectives. The goal of Lexia Core 5 is to build foundational reading skills for students through personalized learning, and of course it focuses on the 6 aspects of reading. And Lexia Core 5 aims to provide students with learning activities that are advanced and accelerate the learning for struggling students. Lexia Core 5 is designed for students as they work independently and at their own pace through their individualized learning paths. The growth mindset. Lexia Core 5 understands student motivation is a critical concern of educators. Students engage better and adapt into the classroom environment who are motivated in their learning and perform considerably higher than their unmotivated peers. Lexia allows students to challenge themselves, demonstrate what they know, and then give them instruction to fill in their weaker gaps. The reading program allows students to set their own pace, monitor their progress, and choose activities to take learning risks at the appropriate difficulty level. It aims to give students continuous feedback through animations and the real-time reinforcement after persisting through a challenging task because it is an important factor in supporting students' growth mindset. And the goal is that the students will learn to take ownership in their effort. So I have 4 different success rate points. The first one is about a school in Utah where 314 Utah schools are supporting nearly 97,000 students through Lexia Core 5 literacy program. And 94% of the students ended the 2018 to 2019 school year working on material above their reading level in Core 5 and scored at or above benchmark ranges on Acadience reading. In 2019 to 2020, the percentage of students working in or above grade level almost doubled from 46% in the fall to 90% by March 2020, while the number of students reading below grade level decreased from 54% to 10% in just over half of the school year. The second one talks about a large Arkansas school district adopting Lexia Core 5 district-wide. So Pulaski County School District in Arkansas expanded the Lexia Core 5 program to all 16 of its elementary schools. However, Pulaski County has been using Core 5 since 2013, so they must obviously have great progress to show with it. But in 2018-2019, at the beginning of the year, less than 48% were working on material in or above grade level, but by the end of the year, 93% were working in or above grade level in Core 5. And with such great success, Pulaski County adopted Lexia Power Up for their 6th grade students and above, which I'll talk about later. So measuring the impact of a blended learning model on early literacy growth. A study investigated the use of Lexia Core 5's blended learning program in kindergarten and 1st grade classrooms. An urban school district compared 283 treatment students instructed using Core 5 with the 237 control students using traditional instruction, and the treatment students outperformed the control students by nearly 20 points on standardized assessments of reading ability. The last one is the impact of Lexia Core 5 reading program on students with reading and language-based disabilities. So Lexia's Core 5's use of randomized control trial, RCT, meets the ESSA standards highest level of evidence outlined by federal law. After using Core 5 for 1 school year, students were 2 times more proficient readers than their non-users, and Lexia Core 5 was 64% more effective than comparable reading programs when looking at standardized assessment growth. So who uses Lexia? All of our pre-K through 5th grade learners use Lexia Core 5, and the population is for all students and ELLs as they develop oral language, reading, spelling, and writing skills. It just helps them develop the fundamental reading skills with their classmates and receiving the student-driven instruction. Any student who faces a learning disability are at risk for academic failure, and all students working on or above their grade level. So the procedures. Lexia Core 5 uses an auto placement to individualize learning, and students complete the one-time research-validated adaptive placement test to determine which reading level is appropriate to start. Questions assess word recognition, reading and listening comprehension with various levels, and based on the student's performance, the student will be placed on the correct reading level and instructional activities. Students log into Core 5 from an app or browser, and once in their dashboard, they can track their own personal goals and progress. Each session begins with a warm-up of activities. Also, Lexia Core 5's three-step instructional branching consists of standard, guided practice, and instruction. The first step in a unit is the standard, and if a student completes it successfully, they will just progress to the next activity. In guided practice, the student has made errors during the standard section and is given scaffolded instruction and practice based on these errors. And for instruction, it is reached when students have made errors in guided practice, and students receive explicit instruction and practice. Lexia Core 5's branching allows students to be supported in their weaker areas before pushing them on to a new activity. The cost, so for one student, it is $40, and this is $40 if there are 250 students or less. The school or the school system has to buy a yearly license of Lexia. So the materials. It is recommended to use headset. You need good internet connection and at least 2 gigabytes minimum. You can access Lexia Core 5 through a Mac, PC, Chromebook. There's an iPad version and an Android version. If you're an educator, you'll go to mylexia.com to access all your students' data and progress. And if you're a student, they'll use my Lexia app. These are just some of the additional resources that Lexia offers their teachers, such as the teacher's manual, quick guides, supplemental comprehension lessons, close reads, the certificates for your students, school-to-home materials, flashcards, fluency passages, and so much more. There's even opportunities for you to purchase additional learning opportunities and references and resources. And then in this little chart, it just kind of tells you what my Lexia recommends based on a performance and what additional resources are available. And you just kind of go through and pick and choose what you need. So a little bit more about Lexia. It is a Rosetta Stone company, or it is a part of the Rosetta Stone company, my bad. It offers Lexia offers Lexia Power Up for 6th graders and above, so it's meant for those students. It's recommended that pre-K students and kindergarten students use Lexia about 15 to 20 minutes a week, while our 1st through 5th grade students use Lexia about 20 to 80 minutes per week. Teachers can print off certificates in both English and Spanish, and the Lexia license allow customers to install their programs on as many devices as necessary. So would I recommend Lexia Core 5? I would absolutely 100% recommend Lexia Core 5 to my school system. My school system actually tested Lexia Core 5 with one of our elementary schools last year, and my school used Lexia just for our ELL learners and our students who are learning at a slower pace. But I would still recommend it to my school system and tell them to continue it. We are actually going to implement Lexia Core 5 in all 4 of our elementary schools this year, which I'm super excited about. And I just think it's a very highly interactive software, and its printable lessons do help us create a blended learning environment, which is great. Being game-like, I feel like it's going to appeal to more students because our students are technology driven. We all know they go home at some point, and not maybe all of them, but a majority of them have access to video games or other games, even if it's on their parents' iPhone or phone. So this game-like approach is definitely going to appeal to all learners. I really think it's great how it targets and benefits not only students who are learning English but who also perform lower, while it also helps those students who are accelerated and ready to move on to something more rigorous and challenging to them. And I find it great that students can learn how to track and record their own progress and learn to have their own motivation, while teachers also get to sit back and track their students' progress while being able to pull individual work or small group work to push those students or really make sure the students are getting the foundation that they need on specific skills. That is all I have on Lexia Core 5. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and learned a lot about the reading program. Thank you so much.